expected that the police have billions more dollars in their budget than health resources and like school and and job resources and housing resources, because at the end of the day, the government controls all of that. And at the end of the day, the government, the police, all of that stuff was built upon a system that's meant to oppress us people of color. So it makes sense for people who think like that. That's what I think. That's what I think about it.
I don't believe that the police should have way more of a budget. Like, seriously, during this whole pandemic, shouldn't we be focusing on the people who are on, like, front lines, too?
Yeah, it's like the doctors, nurses,
More of the budget should go to them, because there's people that, like, what the heck? And the police aren't doing a good job. They're killing us, and that's not even fair. So why are we putting the budget into people that are actually killing us when there's people who's trying to save lives, and they're not even getting barely of the budget? That's so...
Yeah. And in addition, if nobody's supposed to be out on the streets, why the absolute heck do you need police?
Yeah.
What's the point? Nobody's supposed to be out in the first place. Why do you need police? There's supposed to be less crime happening. Oh, wait, but you didn't want to put money into the grocery stores. You didn't want to put money into the food banks, community services,
the housing resources. Like, come on, like, this is...
Exactly. So now people are out here on the street. People don't have the resources they need, so what are they going to do? They're going to go and get what they need, whether it's of the law or not of the law.
It's true.
Exactly.
But the other day, right, I was watching this video, right, where this dude, he was talking to like the mayor. I don't remember what the, like, where it was recorded at. Basically he was talking to the mayor, and then basically, like, it came to his realization that that all of the, but like all of, like, the people of color, like all, like, the lower income communities, right, all of their tax money, right, is going to the police budget, right, which is one stupid, right, because, like, why are we paying you if you're killing us, right? And then and then the second part, the next part, he was like, right, but how, like, not even that, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of the police workers that worked in that precinct, in that section, right, weren't even from that district. So, like, so basically they're given money, right? So, like, the people of color, the low income communities, right, they're giving money to higher income neighborhoods, right, so they can have so there's better schools in lower and higher income neighborhoods, right, right, while the lower income neighborhood schools are still trash, right? And then like that, like, when I seen that video, I'm just like we definitely need a reformation of the government, because, like, right now it's not okay.
No, you know what the government is? It's so corrupted. It's built on laws to systematically oppress us. It's like divide and conquer. You know how they were, like, dividing and conquer with color? It's dividing and conquer with color and with class. So that one, it's like, so one group gets more envious than the other group, and that's why everything is so stupid in this, like, government, how it's created. Like, the foundation of it is so stupid. First of all, we're divided into social classes. Of course, we're going to be more envious. Someone's going to look like, oh, I like your necklace. I want that shit. And then they're going to get robbed. And then look, the police come. And they don't even know how to do their job, because let's say they get that call, and let's say the black person was the person with the amazing necklace. They're gonna be like, oh, he's running. Oh, we're gonna target him. We're gonna shoot him. He stole his chain, when it's actually the other way around. Like, come on, this is. I don't like any of this. I don't like the government, the way of their thinking, the police, the academy, on why we're targeted to be more aggressive. I don't like that.
I think what's crazy is that, so one, to kind of, like, piggyback off what you guys were saying, Chris from DJ Project, he was telling me, or not telling me, but he sent this to the group chat, and we might have seen it, but it said you cannot be against racism if you're not against capitalism, and that's the reason why, because a lot of this stuff honestly stems from just this, like, hunger for money and for power and for having, and money gives you power in a capitalistic society. So therefore, you need to oppress other people in order to get more money and create disparity in other neighborhoods in order to gain more power. So that way you don't even have to put in the work. You've already put in the tools. They're the ones destroying themselves. And as a result, you get more money from their own self-destruction, from their own sabotage, and then that's giving you more power because now you have more money. You say where everything goes. You can say, oh, my neighborhood's this 6-figure neighborhood in Pack Heights. We get da-da-da-da-da. We have big money. We don't have, we're not rich. We're wealthy, which there's a difference. There's a huge difference between being rich and being wealthy. Now, Jay-Z's rich, but Bill Gates is wealthy. There's stark differences between those two terms in terms of how that money flows and how that money operates. And I think that when it comes down to this, where we place our money is where we place our power. And in order for this society to change as a whole, we need to be in control of the money.
That's true. That's what I was like, I don't believe, so I believe that we all should, equality should, everybody should be equal, but I don't think equality exists. Like, it's never going to be possible. It can't be possible. It's not possible. And so it's never going to happen as much as we want it to do and much as we strive for it. I just know, just logically, it's never going to happen.
Hi, this is Jay Salpeso, and you're watching a quarantine episode of Upstar TV.
It's your boy Heem back in another one. You feel me? Another episode of Upstar TV. And today we're going to be talking about defunding the police, right? So I have a special guest with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Chris Cuadrado. I am the principal program coordinator of Horizons Unlimited, the DJ project. But I'm also a visual artist and community member. So I'm here in that capacity today, representing my own thoughts and opinions, and excited to be here.
Okay, definitely. All right. So, like I just said, we're going to be talking about defunding the police right now. So, you feel me? Let's just get right into it. All right. So, how do you imagine defunding the police would look like? And redistributing like all that money that the state gives them to like other stuff. Like, how do you imagine that?
Yeah, before I get into how I'd imagine defunding the police, I just want to contextualize it that we're obviously having this conversation in the context of the Black Lives Matter movement, in the uprisings happening in response to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and other Black and brown folks who have been murdered by police. And so to really talk about that, we aren't talking about defunding the police and defunding public safety. We're actively trying to address a deeply historically rooted problem that is both institutional and cultural. And so that's just really important for me to say. I think a lot of times our arguments in these conversations are delegitimized as, we're just trying to take away public safety. But in reality, we're trying to make sure that Black lives matter and that Black and brown people aren't murdered by the alleged civil servants that are supposed to be guaranteeing our safety. So to get into your question about what I imagine defunding the police would look like and how we could redistribute that funding. I think first, defunding the police is a symbolic gesture of redefining public health. And that gesture of redefining public health is through making a commitment to taking the bloated and heavily militarized police budgets and taking that and distributing it amongst a bunch of different resources in the community. So crime, violent crime, and a lot of the things that we consider the social problems that police allegedly are protecting us from, are directly connected to a lack of resources in our community. They're directly connected to a lack of jobs. They're connected to a lack of food. They're connected to a lack of education, and a lack of support for our own basic economic needs. And so to defund the police would be to fill in those other gaps in our communities, to make sure that hunger is not an issue, to make sure that domestic violence is not an issue, to make sure that all of these larger social problems are addressed through mental health and through meeting basic needs.
Okay, you snapped on that one. Okay. I like that. Do you think so? Do you think like more of the money could go towards like housing and more essential needs, like I said, housing, like the hospitals and like all the other social services that don't get enough funding?
Yes. So the answer is always yes to that. I think one of the greatest myths of contemporary capitalism is that there's a scarcity of resources. When in reality, we actually have all of the resources in the world to end the world's social problems. And we also have different options. So yes, we are talking about defunding the police, but we also have to understand that these are connected to other issues as well. If we are talking about defunding the police, we should also be talking about defunding the military. So these options that I'm talking about is one of these options is cutting into the defense budget. The defense budget is $686 billion annually, and that's only for defense. There's an additional $68 billion allocated as a war fund. And not only that, a quarter of that annual spending would eradicate poverty globally. So the United States spends so much money on guaranteeing that it is the main military power globally, while also neglecting its own citizens and also having the power to end social problems globally, not just within the United States. So that's one of the options of how we can solve our social problems and fund all the things that are going to meet our basic needs, is by cutting into the defense budget. The second option is taxing the wealthy. We have the most billionaires that we've ever had in history, and taxing them at just 1% will also give us enough money in order to fund and eradicate poverty, eradicate hunger, eradicate all of these social problems. So there can always be more money given towards our basic needs. There can always be money given towards housing. What it is a lack of political will. It is not profitable to help people not suffer through poverty. It is not profitable to have people have free healthcare. And so really the crisis that we're having is a lack of desire to put people before profit.
So I'm gonna go off script just for a second, and I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for a second. So let's say like if we were to like defund the police and it happened, and then we were to distribute the money, redistribute. How would you say it would affect the police, right?
I think that's also a part of the conversation that maybe isn't happening. A part of the larger defunding the police conversation is that there is a culture of policing that exists. There is a thing called the thin blue line, which is basically this idea that police will back up another officer regardless of whether or not it's justified. And so there is a culture of thin blue line. And then there's also a culture of white supremacy in the police. And we know that as the origins of police. So if you are unfamiliar with the origins of police, they were originally the first slave patrols. And those were institutionalized and eventually became the police departments that we know today. And that's what we understand in the antebellum South, right? So we also have the Southwest, which used to be Mexico and was taken by the United States. And so what policing looks like in the Southwestern territories is that the police were known as the Texas Rangers, and the Texas Rangers were actually lynch mobs. So in order to take Mexicans' land from them, they actually went as gangs, as patrols, as the Texas Rangers, and they hung Mexicans in order to send a message that this land will be ours. And so I think it's naive to assume that those histories aren't informing the cultures that policing exists in. And not only that, but we have actual examples and FBI studies that suggest that white supremacists have infiltrated police departments and the military. And so these aren't new conversations. And I think all this to say, to your point, is I think there will be a negative reaction from police. I think there are already examples in media and in history of police doing illegal activities to justify their jobs. There's video of people planning drugs, of manipulating crime statistics. And, I think that is the part of what we have to be prepared to deal with in the struggle, and why we have to organize in order to be able to put political pressure on our local governments to make sure that abuses of power aren't happening.
All right, definitely. Yeah, no, I just want to pick your brain about that, because like, everybody always, because I hear everybody talking about defund the police, but I know if this were to happen, what would will they retaliate? I'm genuinely curious about that. All right, so my next question, right, is what have you experienced personally with the police, right, that bases your opinion off of them? How, do you have any personal experiences that made you believe that the police are this way instead of this way?
Yeah, of course. So all of this language and rhetoric that I'm using are things that I took upon myself to study. But my intrigue in these ideas came from my lived experience of being a brown man growing up in the hood, and feeling that, and growing up knowing that the police weren't there to protect me, and that being one of the earliest messages that I got. So I think there are several experiences. There's the experience of growing up in your community and knowing that there is this form of power that literally patrols your neighborhood, that has the power to take away your life, and they aren't there for you. So that's like the earliest experience, right, of feeling the way I do about police. But then as I get older, as I start to mature, I start to be perceived as a grown man, even though I'm still a teenager. My experiences with the police increased, from getting pulled over, walking on the street, getting questioned, getting interrogated. The first time I ever dealt with police pulling us over, I was in a car, and they pulled us over right in front of my house, and none of what you would expect to happen in being pulled over happened. Nobody came up to the window and was like, license and registration, can I see your insurance? 3 officers jumped out of their car, ran up on our car, and flung open the doors, pointing flashlights and guns at us. I know that's not standard protocol. I know that's not how they're supposed to be dealing and approaching young people in our community. And so that was another example of police having the power to determine what is okay, and having the power to shape the narrative. Because no matter who I could talk to and speak to, it would not have mattered what my experience was or what my narrative was as a young brown person, because the police are the authority in this situation. And so that was another moment where I realized that I don't have the power to shape the public narrative the way the police do. When I was 19, gone to college, got put up on all this game, and I was like, I bet, let's do something about it. And so that's when I started getting politically involved, and I participated in a few different civil disobediences. So I've been arrested 3 different times for civil disobedience. One was at Senator Feinstein's office here in San Francisco. Another time was at an education office in Oakland. And the third was in Sacramento at the Capitol building, where I was a part of a sit-in. And each time we were arrested or detained, the amount of disrespect, the amount of antagonism that we experienced, and the amount of just blatant racism and sexism and homophobia that the police were comfortable expressing towards us while we were in their custody was also another indicator to me of how little power you have when you are in their custody. And that also being one of the experiences. And so my final experiences with the police weren't ones of activism, but they were ones of me actually breaking the law. So I've been arrested before. I want to say I was probably 19. So this is about a long time ago, 11 years ago. I was arrested when I was 19 for possession of drugs. And in that arrest, I spent 4 nights in a county jail. And that was probably one of the most traumatic and violent experiences that I ever had. And all of that violence came at the hands of the police and the correctional officers. It was actually the other prisoners who were looking out for me, who were telling me how to move, how to take care of myself, and how to not be targeted by the police. And so all of those interactions and those experiences shaped and informed my opinion on the police.
What up? It's your girl AK510 with Upstar Records. I am here to let you guys know that there is an awesome show that Upstar has every Wednesday from 6 to 7 with Veronica and Rainizi. It's called Upstar T. We'll be dropping the dopest topics going on right now, from police brutality, dope music, clout and talent, and a whole bunch of other things. Each session we have some of our artists come on and they explain about how life is affecting them right now, and it's just awesome. You guys should check it out. It's inspirational and it also helps with healing. So y'all, once again, don't check out Upstar T every Wednesday from 6 to 7. See y'all there.
Still I rise even when it's unpopular. Still I rise even if they're trying to knock me down. Still I rise even if they say that I am wrong. Truth is life is what you make it, and I choose to make it gleam all in color. Pray to the Father, pray that He's got it. Trust in my sister and brother. Look at the beauty, sharing love is my duty. Caring for the needy, ain't no time to be greedy. Staying off the comment section, just bringing separation. Fake news surface, adding fire to the furnace. We clueless of what it's doing to us. Then we wonder why is panic happening to us. Yeah, intentionality, that is the noun. The thing we gotta carry if we wanna see us out. So choose it now and be intentional. We gotta cling to hope and decide to stay afloat.
OTV, doing the Upstar YFYI challenge. Okay. This is nothing new, the devil still been knocking on my door. 7 years ago, they never see this before. This is such an unoccasion, the wind is breezy. Don't act like you didn't know the government isn't sleazy. I'm spitting straight bars like my idol easy. Consider making dirty money cause it's easy. If a roller didn't stop, that's what you do, you think Corner would do. So that's my dude, I'm only drinking Mountain Dew, clogging my nose so I have to deal with your issues. Woohoo! Yo, what's good everybody? Johnny V doing the Still Rise Challenge by Upstar Records. I feel like my idols here call me Yeezy, cause we sleazy, getting that dirty money from the orange man. $1,000 checks, people so focused and caught up in the politics. Yeah, to me it's the same outcome. Red Bull or blue pill, we all going dumb and we all gonna die. And Sleepy Joe's nominee is a little bit more the same to me. Donald Trump gonna bring mass homicide, yeah, cause we all gonna die. Cause all these politicians do, they just lie. Vampire player?
Yeah. Paper ain't surprised, I ain't finna spit it nicely. When I'm in the kitchen, girl, I hope you like it spicy. Word is that the world is upside down. We should learn from South Korea, from the way they held it down. Know I bag it when I'm bow, always help the elderly. Tell me what you be about, you about without the meat. Hella focus on the mission, so don't mind me if I speak. Can't confine what's autopilot on my ultraviolet beams. Ain't even need deep yet, you don't wanna hand me the key, see paper. Any with the ambulance beat, lead them myself, you don't have to agree. Dreams of a young OG, no more hella talking of just being me, provocative. Speaking profound to become a pro-communist. Ain't it obvious my embodiment when it comes to rhythm of the tip-top naughtiest?
Upstar Youth, Still I Rise Challenge. Yo. Yeah. Show gratitude, lose the attitude, make the change, say MJ. Learning to love myself above all else, gotta make a difference. It's something that's missing, sorry mom. I was mad for so long. Seeing those on family pictures made me realize just how much I miss ya. I was filled with hatred and neglect, felt like such a reject, but I never knew how much you went through. How glad I am to have you was just about indescribable. My grandparents are always there for me, that's so reliable. Even after all the tough times, they stepped up when both of my parents couldn't. So when it comes to being Ebenezer Scrooge, I know I shouldn't. It ain't them, it's me. I know I still got lots to work on. Still nobody's perfect. I'm pushing myself past my limit. No need to make hasty decisions, but still I'm stressing. My life is depression. To wake up another day is always a blessing. Do you get the message? Barely getting by, yeah, I call to survive, but I'm much to thrive. Can't afford to waste any time. Working hard, yeah, I'm on my grind. Homeless now, so I'm losing my mind. Hotels to motels, then back to the truck. When you feel like giving up, just know resiliency is key. Stand tall, be strong, and one day we will rise.
This is so cool because I just get like, it's almost like someone's knocking on the door, like the doorbell rings, and I'm like, who's at the door?